Hey everybody, this is Regan Adams with All Things Regan. Thank you for joining me on Regan Says this morning. So let's get into it. First of all, I want to do a recap of my weekend because I typically will throw the weekend in. Um, and if you're just joining me for the first time this morning, welcome. That's number one. But number two, uh, I like to typically talk about anything that is pertaining to me. So I'm not going to ever get on here and talk about something I don't know about. Most of the time, it's going to be my personal experiences or my thoughts. And most people like to talk about themselves anyway. So, but what better way to talk about something I know about when it's happened to me, right? So, anyway, this weekend, again, church was awesome Sunday. The Spirit came through again and wrecked the place. Um, let's see. We had Super Sunday, and that happens every fifth Sunday. And our church also did the big grill out. So we had all this food, and we were able to sit outside and eat. So it was really good to fellowship. But one of the things I wanted to talk about this weekend, which I need to be mindful of myself, especially as a Christian, is how I treat people. So I am not totally different than what I used to be, but there are some different things. I kind of move a different way now. So I don't know if you caught me on the last video, but I have out back in the day, I would always be just like in your face and always really talkative and the loudest one in the room, the center of attention. Now I like to kind of shy back to the back of the room. And most of the time, I'm not even really going to speak. Like, I might give you like one of those phony smiles. You know, when you see people, you just like, and just keep it pushing. That's me. Or I might be on the phone or something, or act like I'm on the phone just to make sure that I don't have to make any eye contact with you to speak, which is crazy because that is totally different than how I used to be. And I am I'm really introverted now, but I'm extroverted once I get to know you. So I remember when I met my good friend Cindy. Now she used to be like, "Oh, I couldn't stand you because you thought you were all that, and you just had an air about you." She said, "You still have it." She said, "But you're not who I thought you were." And I remember somebody at my church. I can't. Sister Cherie. She was like, "Girl, I thought you was," she didn't call me stuck up. She called me something else, and I can't think of the name of it right now. But people tend to think that. And and then I'm not a hugger. So I remember Sister Claire, I can't think of her last name. She came to hug me, and I kind of just gave her like an air high five, but she doesn't know me personally, so she probably thought I was being really funny. I don't like hugging. Like, it's just not my thing. I didn't grow up hugging. My mother is not a hugger. My father wasn't a hugger. We didn't grow up in the I love you house. Like, I'm really kind of like 50 feet. Get away from me. I raised my daughter differently because my daughter and my husband are touchers. They like to touch and hug and cuddle and stuff. That's not my flavor. I'm like, get on your side of the bed. I don't quit touching me. Well, just didn't grow up that way. But I'm working on it. I keep saying I'm working on it, and here we are 5 years into working on it. But I'm doing better. I feel like I'm doing better. But specifically when I'm having events and things of that nature, when the women want to talk to me after the event, they may be like, "Oh, Regan, so, give me a hug." Oh, girl. So I'm having to do better. But one thing that I'm really noticing, especially when I'm in church or especially when I'm out, is how I treat people. And I think it's very important, especially when somebody knows you are a Christian or even doesn't know. I won't even say no. You have to be very mindful of how you treat them. Your face, your facial expression, you have to be mindful of that. You have to be mindful of just making them feel welcome. Um, and I just had a few events over the weekend to where I saw some people not being friendly. And I was thinking, well, I can't necessarily look at them, but was I looking friendly, or, did I speak? So I'm trying to be more mindful of that. So whether you're a Christian or not, try your best to be friendly. Try your best to be welcoming or warm. Now, sometimes somebody may not like you. I don't know what you do with that. But one thing that I love, like, I'm going to be real honest. You want to let me, I'm going to let you in on a secret of mine. When I know somebody doesn't like me, that makes me excited. I know somebody right now. It's crazy. You know the saying, kill them with kindness, which I don't want to kill anybody, but it works. Listen, when you are nice to somebody that doesn't like you, it goes all over them. There's a lady that I used to work with. Still do. And I know she didn't like me. Couldn't stand me. And I knew it. And I was like, you know what, Lord? I'm not going to let her get under my skin. So what I had to do was start praying. Like, God has really been where he started getting my prayer life out of me is through my job. Like, for real, because of how people have treated me. Every time I knew my prayer life was going to another level because of my job, because he would send people, or people would not, I don't know if he necessarily sent them, but all things work together for my good. So whether the enemy sent them or not, it was still to grow me. But she didn't like me. Like, I would almost say she hated me, seriously. And it would be one of those moments. And I do have a few people that when I'm walking down the highway, they'll very often go the other way, which is crazy. But I laugh. I think that's so funny that you would let me have that much control over you that you would go the other way. But anyway, my prayer life, I started building my prayer life. But the thing before that is God showed me her life. And he showed me her personal life, which I'm just like, I love this gift. Like, I love this gift. Thank you, Jesus. He showed me her life, and he showed me some things about her. And I started feeling sorry for her, really, because a lot of the times when we treat people certain ways, or people treat you a certain way, sometimes it really doesn't have anything to do with you. Or if it does, and they see you as being happy, and maybe they're not happy, or they think you can do something better than them, they treat you poorly. And it's not necessarily you, it's just they're not living their best life. That's why I always encourage people to live your best life. And we'll get into that on the topic, but I'm just kind of recapping my weekend real quick, and I need to hurry up because I'm drawing it out. So anyway, he had shown me her life, and like, he gave me like step by step. It was crazy. He gave me every step that she made after she left work. And at that point, I started praying for her. But even she was still treating me poorly, but I knew I couldn't treat her poorly. And I know that's why God showed it to me. He asked me to show her love. And she would come down the hall, and I would be like, Lord, just put me back in her walkway. And every time she saw me, she would put her head down, and I would say, hey, such and such, how you doing this morning? Or how are you doing this afternoon? And she would have to speak because it would just be us. But I knew it was just like pulling hair out of her head. And then I would see her again, or she would go down another aisle, and I'll swing back around and, hey, how are you? Have a good day today. How's the weather? Just over the top, because I can be over the top sometimes. But now she speaks to me first. Now that edge that she had, she doesn't have it anymore. So I think just treat people right. Treat people right. The second thing, and I'm going to get into my topic. I might not need to do recaps of my weekend. I had, I spoke to two young ladies, a coach that was talking to me about sponsorships, and then the young lady that I'm going to be working with my, my business photos. And, the business photos, young lady, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to have my pictures done. She's awesome. But she called and she kind of talked to me about some different things and how I'm going to incorporate her into my business coaching program. And she was talking about networking. And as I stated before, I like to shun to the back of the room. And I'm a planner. Like, I can plan an event in like 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops, because I'm compulsive like that. I'm particular. I can plan an event in a minute, and I can see it before it even happens. But when it comes to implementing it and I have to be in the front to talk about it, I don't like it. And I still have very real fears of speaking in public, although I believe God is pushing me out to a platform to speak in front of people, which I don't want to do. Like, I don't want to do it. But I don't think I have a choice. So it's kind of like, okay, because God has shown me these different dreams, and this is where it's all leading to, is me out here in the front. And I'm just like, Lord, I don't want to be in the front. I don't. Like, let me plan it, let me implement it, and let me get an MC. And he's like, no. And like, even with my event, when we go to, I was about to tell you where we're going next year. Even when we go out of the country to the next Put Me First, it's like I was trying to find a speaker, but he's like, I need you to do it. And I'm like, Lord, no, but I want to find a speaker. And he was like, but I need you to do it. But I don't want to do it. I don't want to speak in front of people. I had a meeting earlier last week. That's what I'm gonna do the video. I got so many videos in this one. Let me hurry up. I had a meeting this past week with someone, and I was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable because the person knows a lot, seen a lot, done a lot, and it can be almost intimidating. Not that they were trying to be intimidating. It was intimidating. And I think, and this is like a real moment, but I'm transparent anyway. But just the thought of that, sometimes it's even hard for me to have a one-on-one conversation and talk to you about what it is that I want to do. It's a very real thing, and it's a scary thing. And when going back to the young lady that I spoke to that's going to do my photography, she like really kind of coached me, and she was just giving me some things and some ideas. And I was sharing with her, I said, I'm thinking God is telling me to go out here and I need to work on being a public speaker. And I was like, but I don't want to do that. But I know I have something to say, and I know what he's shown me. And she was like, but why not? Why not? And then I was telling her my real fears of when I'm explaining whatever I'm doing. It's like I got all of these sentences. And if somebody's just sitting there looking at me like, what are you talking? It's almost like in my mind, while I'm talking, I'm looking at the person trying to gauge what they're thinking. Like, she sounds retarded. What is she talking about? And they may not even be thinking about that. And so with that, I'm rambling. I feel like I'm rambling. And like they don't understand what I'm talking about. And like, you are such an imbecile. And the crazy thing is, she shortened, like, she said, well, what do you do? Because we need to go to a networking event, and I have 2 in mind, and you need to be there. And I'm just like, networking. I don't want to meet other people, but you got to. You have to. If you want your business to grow, it's who you know. It is who you know and your connections. And so she said, well, what do you do? And I was telling her, and I was thinking, well, shoot, I don't even know, because here it is. I do events. That's number 1. I have a book. I've written a book a couple of years ago. I have a candle line. I have a t-shirt line. I have that's that candle t-shirt, and I'm getting ready to implement this coaching program. That's a lot. But I said, but they're all women centered. And she said, okay, so you do women's empowerment. And I was like, yeah, I do. I have products and events that are women centered, and it's women's empowerment. I was like, so why couldn't I talk to you like 5 years ago? Because you could have shortened my stuff down while I've been rambling. But anyway, I'm telling you what God has been doing, and this is real quick, and then I'll get off into my topic. What God has been doing to me within the past week and a half, it's been going kind of fast, is he's making me very uncomfortable. And it's crazy because it's like I always tend to talk to the women that I talk to get yourself out of the comfort zone and stretch yourself. And now I'm being stretched to be in the word more, being stretched to push more and go to prayer when my flesh does not really want to go. I just want to be home, sleep in my bed, meeting deadlines. having someone to tell me what to do, which I'm not used to doing, and he knows I don't like that because I'm not like a rule player. I love to break the rules. I mean, not on purpose, but I color outside the lines, and I like to flow with my stuff. And now I can't necessarily, I can, but I can't necessarily do that. And just being stretched, and then also with being obedient and listening and hearing and not reacting, but just maturing, um just getting outside of my comfort zone. And then he's putting me around people that make me uncomfortable. He knows I don't like to have those conversations with people I don't know, but I'm a people person, which is crazy. Like, I love to talk. I love it. But if I do not know you, I'm just like 50 feet. Hey, and keep it pushing. But he's been putting me in these uncomfortable situations with people who are going to pull and push stuff out of me. And it's kind of like my flesh is like, no, Lord, no, I don't want to do it. But I got to. I have to. So anyway, that was my recap for the weekend. I had a really good weekend. Church was always great. I'm being stretched. I'm being pushed to do bigger and better things. And money wise, like, oh my gosh, this next event is probably going out of the country. It's going to be probably my most expensive event, but God will provide. He's always provided. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm up for the challenge. Sounds good. But going into what I'm going to talk about today, which this has already been 16 minutes. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, because somebody need to hear something that I said. Right. I want to talk about insecurity breeding jealousy. So as I stated before, anytime I get on these videos, I'm going to talk about something that I've been through. One thing with me that I look at now is I want to always make sure I'm looking at what I'm doing and being realistic about myself and where I'm at. And some people can't do that or don't want to do that. We look at ourselves and think, well, they should have, but we never stop and say, well, wait a minute, what did I do? And about myself, I am very competitive. I am very competitive. I always like to be number one. I like to be the one with the first information. I like to be the one with the best event. I like the praise, like, oh my gosh, that's good. And then try to act modest, like, girl, no, it's just Jesus, which it is. But I love excellence. I love excellence, especially with events, and making sure the women that attend my events have everything that they need and they don't necessarily have any questions. Sometimes it's hard because we have a lot of personality clashes. Ugh, that's another story. But I was in a situation where this was some years ago. And I had to get real with myself. There was a few people, and I can't really go into the whole thing, so I'm trying to figure out how to tell this story. There was a few people that I know and really love them, like genuinely love them. But we had to work on something together. And it was cool. I think I'm a team player. Now, I am a lead. I am a leader. I'm a leader. And a lot of the times I think my ideas are the best ones. But now I'm learning to fall back, listen to everybody else, and, input where I'm asked. You can't go in the room thinking you know it all, because you don't. So I'm just zip it, be quiet. I had to work on a project with some people, and I love them. And it seemed like I was getting cut out in certain places. Like, I would do certain part of the work, and once I did the work, I got cut out. Now, mind you, I'm hyped. Listen, If you don't know anything else about me, if I don't tell you anything else about me, I love events. I love events. I love when people get together. I love them feeling loved. I love them coming together, loving on one another, relaxing, having a good time, an enjoyable experience. I love everything about an event. And I'm very passionate about it. Like very passionate. And I know there was times, especially at the beginning of my when I first started doing events, I would give so much in the gift bag, it would be ridiculous. Like you saw all your money in the gift bag, but once you got to the other part of the experience, it was like, dang, this was worth way more. But anyway, I love events. Okay. So we were working on this project together and I was doing my portion of the work, which I'm a team player. And I felt like I was getting cut out. Matter of fact, I was getting cut out. I felt a spirit of competition at that point because they knew how I operated. And I don't think they necessarily wanted me to get the shine. So some things were done and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't like how the situation went down. And I actually spoke on it later on after the event was over. And I said, okay. So you're going to take that event. I'm going to have my own. And I'm going to show you. Yeah, I'm just being real. Let's be real. Because that's the only way we can heal. That's the problem. That's what I was saying at the very beginning. A lot of people are not going to heal because they don't want to reveal things about themselves, that they have flaws and that they have character issues. And they're not going to do it. And so you're not going to be able to heal because you're not going to be real with yourself. So anyway, I put the event on. The event was spectacular. And I went over the top because, again, I had to show you. Right. So I won. Right? Wrong. So at this point, the people had gone on living their life. Everything they did, I watched. Everything they did, I watched. And I watched and I would compare myself. Everything they did, I watched and I would compare myself. It was sickening. I'm going to be real. Don't be looking at me like y'all have not done it. I know you have. Y'all perfect. And listen, I don't care who you are. Everybody has done a comparison or been jealous of somebody in their life. They just have. You can tell me you haven't. I know you have. I know you have. That's human nature because a lot of the time we think that we're not as far along as we should be. So we're looking at this person saying, well, dang, they got this and they got that and I should be. And that's what I was doing. And then I was looking at my life like, well, dang, we looking like this, but well, dang, they looking like that, but we should be doing that. And it was just a comparison. And then I was convicted, like the Lord convicted me because I know he was moving me to another level. And, when he's trying to clean things out, he's cleaning it out. And I sat down and I didn't feel good about it. I was like, I'm not feeling good about this because I'm jealous. I'm jealous of them. Like for real. And I had to work that thing out. Well, God had to work it out of me. Because I was like, Lord, I can't keep feeling like this and moving like this. And, I need you to take this out of me. So finally, I got delivered from it. But what the problem is I wasn't confident in who I was. Matter of fact, I didn't study what God said about me. He says, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. There's nothing wrong with me. He has given me gifts that I would, instead of concentrating on my gifts, I'm looking across the street at what whoever else got going on. So instead of honing in on what he needs me to do, I'm looking across the street. We shouldn't have time for that. Social media is probably one of the worst. It's the good thing, but it's the bad thing because we can tend to look at people and be like, oh my gosh, you just got so much going on. Like people will see my events and like, yes, I've had events out of town. I've just started having them in Knoxville. I've had them in Chicago, Charlotte. We're doing one out of the state, out of the country, Nashville, Atlanta. Like I don't do my events here. I do them now, but I didn't before. So People can look at that and be like, oh my gosh, Regan, and she's going to LA and Vegas this time, and she plans her events. It's just her and Cindy, and she get a little help. Looks big. Crazy, because I had a phone conversation with the event lady that when I'm doing an event in August, we were talking, and she said, well, she was trying to get my business, and she said, well, where do you normally have your events? I said, I normally have them out of town. And she was like, well, where? And I'm telling her, and she was like, oh wow, well, we would like to keep your business, and when you travel, you can continue to work with our brand and blah blah blah, and we can do X, Y, and Z. It sounds big. You can look at my page and say, oh my gosh, Regan is doing it. But listen, let me tell you, y'all don't know my struggles. Some of y'all do. Some of you do. But I have one. But I tell you what, I'm graced to go through it. Listen, if I don't know nothing else, I'm graced to go through it. And every time I hear somebody say, oh, Regan, girl, you got it going on, you doing this, and I'm like, baby girl, you just don't know. You just don't know. I can show you some things and you'll be like, and sometimes when I tell people, because I'm very transparent, more so, I'm transparent on here, but more off camera with personal conversations. Because I don't mind sharing my stuff. Like, I just don't. My mom's like, oh my gosh, you tell everything. And I'm thinking to myself, you need to tell some stuff too so we can get healed. But that's another story. Listen, we have got to worry about the gifts. Not worry, because we don't worry. But we need to concentrate on our gifts, what God gave us, and take our eyes off of other people. We've heard it all before. I know, we shouldn't be jealous because we don't know what they've gone through to get. Listen. I can tell y'all some stories and y'all be like, for real? Regan, I didn't know you. I didn't know. Regan, I didn't know. Take my coaching program. See what happened. Oh, girl, listen. What's going on now? Nobody. You can't give me an excuse to why you can't operate in your gift. Like, you can't. You can't. You cannot. You cannot. You take my coaching program, the Genesis program, in August, nobody will be able to give me an excuse as to why they can't do, why the assignments or finish their business, especially lack of money. Don't talk to me about money. Don't talk to me about money. Don't do it. You don't need money to run a business. You do, but you don't. You don't. No excuses. There's none. So anyway, that was the story today. Just be mindful. Just be mindful when you're scrolling and you looking through Facebook and everything looks good and everything is like, oh my gosh, she's doing it. She's doing it. She's doing it. You have no idea what that background story is. Yes, I share a lot, but I don't share everything. And listen, let me tell you, anybody looking at me has nothing to be jealous about. Nothing. Matter of fact, concentrate on your gift. Concentrate on your gift. Find out what God's, go in that scripture. Go in the book. Go in the good book. Go in the good book. Go in your Bible. And find out what God said about you. Listen, you won't look at anybody else. You won't do it. Matter of fact, just do a self-cleanse. Go and write down everything that's wrong with you. And then write down everything that's right with you. Like, you're going to go through the column and fix what's wrong. Ask God to help deliver that stuff out of you. And then work on the good stuff. Then you work on you and your situation and your background. You don't have time. Listen, yes, I have a Facebook page. Yes, I admire people's pages. Yes, I'm like, oh girl, she bad. Ruru, let's do it. You go, girl. But listen, I got so much stuff I got on my plate right now. I don't have time to look at anybody else's stuff. Like, I don't. Like, what's she doing? Woo. Now, I do admire people's pages. I do. But not like, oh, girl, I wish I could be just, Because that time you think, oh, I wish I can be like, they stuff be so jacked up. You be like, well, I don't want this. Huh? I digress. But I'm going to hop off here. Thank you for joining me today. I think I'm going to do some more videos this week. I don't know. I have a packed week and we have family day this weekend. Family weekend. So I'm just excited to be spending time with my husband and my daughter. And they are, well, they're not first priority, but God is, and my family. And just excited about that. And then just trying to rest up because my weekend is kind of been like this, and I did not get any work done this weekend, but I did need to take a break. So anyway, you guys have a blessed week. And if there's anything that you want to talk about, inbox me. We can probably talk about it. Although God did give me some things to talk about. If there's something that you want to talk about, let's do it. Connect with me on All Things Regan. That's the platform on Facebook. And then you can also go to my website. I'm still working on it, but it is functional. It's allthingsregan.com. Regan is Regan. We still have some slots open for the Las Vegas and LA trip. Deadline is May 15th. Like, I'm not taking any money May 16th. Let's see. May, and then do I have an event in August? Yes, I have an event in August, but that is sold out, so there's no need for me to even talk about that one. Then I have my staycation in Pigeon Forge at the Marriott, Courtyard Marriott. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. If you can go, please go. Listen, it's going to be awesome. The hotel is nice. The atmosphere is nice. We're getting ready to pull out your dreams and visions and work on them. And also have a relaxing time. October, we have the candle making event. And November, we have what is it? It's a dinner and a movie, I believe. And I think there's going to be one in December. I think the movie is coming out, but I don't want to call it too soon because, you know, like I said, I want to be the first to announce it. God's gonna work on me with the competition, like being competitive. Being competitive is good, but sometimes it can be, you can get off into some other stuff that you don't need to be into, because the enemy will send that direct attack and you'll be like, really? But anyway, we won't go into that. But I am very competitive and I want to be first and I want to be excellent. And I thank God for the Chick-fil-A anointing over my business and my life. And I may not even know what I'm asking for there too, but their customer service is impeccable. But anyway, I'm going to hop off here. My name is Regan Adams with All Things Regan. Excuse me. You guys have a blessed week. Bye.